guys. It's 8:30 a.m. A little bit of a late start. Made some executive decisions on the Jeep. That's the bump stops we're going to put on the front. Pretty standard, most of you've done those. C-gussets are out. I just don't care for them. Let me get them, I'll show y'all. See if I can show you why and how and all that stuff. I just don't think, you know, they go like, let me find the correct one. Shit. Like so. I just don't see that doing much. And another thing is, my ball joints are brand new. I just put them in there, you know, months ago. Ain't been in there that long. I don't want to pop them out to do just to weld that on there. I mean, to me it's not worth it now anyway. Now our weak points on this front end axle is going to be the hubs, which we can replace easily on the trail, and the carrier in here. It's a Yukon carrier, but it's still, you're relying on that center pin to hold everything in, to hold everything, and, you know, to turn the axles. If we was to happen to break that center pin and destroy that carrier, it's probably going to destroy this housing. So what we'll do is, I'm going to go get the tires today, if they're in stock and ready to go by then. I've got to call for oil parts at 9 o'clock. But what we'll do is, if we destroy the carrier in here and destroy this housing, we're going to have to get another diff anyway. So when we get another diff, we will do the other diff with the axle tubes, cut off all this stuff, and build a bulletproof Dana 30, in my eyes, bulletproof Dana 30 front end. We'll put the matching truss on it from Iron Rock like we got in the back, and trim it all up and make it fit, and do C-gussets, custom made C-gussets and stuff like that. But we're going to try it with just the tube seals for now and see what it does. That's just what I've decided to do. And I fitted the truss, which I was going to put this on here to stiffen that upper mount. I just don't like it, guys. I just don't like it, so I'm not going to put it on there. It just, I don't know, it just didn't turn out like I thought it would look. And it really doesn't have a function other than bracing this up. So I'm going to leave it off. There's too many interference issues with this thing with that high steering. Let's see if I can video this. Hopefully we got enough aluminum stock to make what we need. Yeah, those have 0 compression, which is good. A mark. Stuff all collapses in there pretty damn good. If you ever noticed, I got the track bar mount kind of rolled ahead just a little bit, so it'll go straight when it comes up. Just, you know, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just the way I did it. But see, if we had that iron rock truss on there, we would be very close to getting in contact with our hoses and stuff. We'd have to do something with that. But we'll cross that bridge if we ever have to do that. Where's the weights at? Took a little bit. Yeah, I might want to take a heat gun to them and heat them up a little bit where they'll stick. Alright, now we got to get the front end put back together. I'm working on it, boys. Get the carrier back in. Stick the axle shafts in it, and I want to get the new tires on it before we do those bump stops. They're a little bit taller than the old ones, of course. "25, 30 seconds. 13.5 inches up underneath the diff. That was what I was looking for. 13.5 inches of clearance. Johnny's got, if I remember right, Johnny's got 12.5 under that 14 bolt with 44s on it. Anyway, she's looking good. I'll bring y'all back when I got the front tires on it, and then we'll finish out these bump stops. It's probably gonna be a long video today. Well, maybe not, I don't know. I was gone for 4 hours getting those tires. They don't look so big now to me. Let's get them all on there and see what it looks like. Alright guys, I got the axles back in. I'll just show you guys. I've gotten a lot of questions on these wheel bearings. They just pack like a trailer bearing. And some of you younger guys may never even did this before. This is the first job I learned as a mechanic. My uncles, like I told y'all before, all my uncles are mechanics. And I'd go out there and help them. And when you're starting out, you're just a wheel bearing packer and a parts washer, but that's how you learn. But you just take your bearing. They got bearing packers, but I like doing it this way better. If you watch the top of the bearing, you just scratch it a little bit every time. See it starting to come out, and you just roll it around. It'll push like this. See, doing it this way, it'll push all the old grease that you might have missed from cleaning it right out the top of it. It's not good to mix greases. So this way here, you can kind of flush out the old stuff too. Which I wash these in mineral spirits, but you're not going to, you know, it's very hard to get every single bit of it out. If you do this regular, like not regular like once a month or nothing like that, but every year, pull your hubs down and pack your wheel bearings like this, it'll last forever. And that's how you do that. Now that bearing's full of grease. Yeah, it's messy. You can put gloves on if you want to, but they don't work out well for me ever. You drop that one in there. You pack the other side the same way, and then you fill that cavity up with grease in there. You fill all that cavity up with grease, and you press the other one in there, and that's your reservoir for grease. And they run forever like that. As long as you do it once a year and repack them, you don't have to put, that's it on buying wheel bearings. Just, you know, back in the day before they come out with these component type wheel bearings that's all one piece, you didn't have as many problems with wheel bearings. But those one piece wheel bearings, if you don't buy good ones, they will not last you, and they'll only. Alright guys, it's the next day. I think I got a problem. I've been standing at the door since 5 o'clock staring out here, wanting to go to work on it where we can drive it. Springs still aren't in the front. I packed those wheel bearings yesterday and the camera died. The memory card was full, so I couldn't really make any more stuff on it. When we get the tires off, we're going to fab up our bump stops. Take her for a ride. It's sitting down in the front a little bit because of it. The springs ain't in it. It's just sitting on jack stands. Let me open the door up and we'll get to work. Alright guys, first thing we need to do is, no springs in it, jack it up to our mark, make sure we get clearing, turning and all that stuff. I took the center caps out of the wheels. I don't like them. I like it better like that. It's coming together. We get the tripod and we will see how high up we can go before we start contacting stuff, and then we may remark our line here. That doesn't look like much, but we're going to find out here in just a minute. We get the tripod. Yeah, that ain't accurate because it's down. The Jeep's down probably 3 or 4 inches in the front because the springs ain't in it. I gotta wake up. When we get the jack, y'all watch it right there. That's where we're gonna have contact at. Here we go. Shit, we got a lot like that. Let's turn the wheel. Okay. It's a little close for comfort. Let's go down just a little bit, check our mark. Alright, let's turn it the other way. That's all good though, we can move that. We're still above our original mark. Let's go down just a little bit. gotta be close to the mark. Yeah. See, we were 1/2 inch above it. Alright, let's turn it back right there and probably go with our original mark. With all the down in the back, it's going to help the up in the front as far as climbing up on something. Yeah, I can live with that. Alright, that'll work. Pull the tires off of it. We'll make us a new mark. We're right there at our old mark where we flexed it in the get-go and checked it out with the, so if I just go with that, go ahead and do some measuring here. Let's see what we got. Let me locate a tape. Every shop needs 10 measuring tapes. That way you can keep up with them. So we're close to what we are in the back, which kind of makes sense. 6 inches up. Well, no, that's not accurate. We're gonna make a 5.5 inch puck and stop it right there. Maybe 5 3/4 and stop it right there. Everything looks good underneath there. Every steering and hoses and. Alright, 5.5. Let's go right on the board. I want to ride this thing today. Hopefully it works out for us. I don't see why not. Let's go 5 1/2. Alright, I'm gonna get. Sorry, I'm gonna get to work. Let me get the other one off and we'll get after it. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, mention something to you guys. I found the source of the "it won't work" syndrome. I know where it's coming from now. I sat there and put 4-wheel parts yesterday for probably about 2 hours waiting on them to get shit pulled and all that stuff after they told me it was already ready. But anyway, every person that come in there, in JK's mostly, there was a lot of people in there buying parts. If they wanted to buy, say they wanted to put 33s on their JK, I'm standing back, you know, arms crossed, just listening to these salesmen, and they're telling the lady, well, if you get 33s, you got to get 488 gears, and if you run this, you got to get that. I think that's where all that stuff stems from, is those salesmen. They're trying to sell more parts. And I watched and listened, and when I got my tires, you know, the guy was asking me on the phone, you know, oh, you sure that's going to fit on a XJ? Do you know what lift do you have, and how much lift does it have? They don't really make a lift that'll fit that kind of tire on an XJ, all kind of stuff. And actually it was the old lady, and the old lady finally told him that, look, don't worry about what is going on. This is what I want. He's coming to pick it up, because she ordered it all. And I got there, and he started giving me the same questions, and it was nuts. And when I left, I got to thinking, I'm like, that's where all that shit comes from. But anyway, train's coming as usual. Anyway, the rest of the story is, Mike told him, Mike's like, well, I got a ZJ and I got 44 boggers on it. He's like, oh, well, how did you do that? All this stuff. Anyway, Mike asked him, the salesman, if he had a Jeep, and he said, yeah, it's sitting out here in the parking lot, and it was a nice JKU, but I mean, everything done to it. And he wanted us to go out there and look at it. I don't know why my camera's wanting to fog up. It's probably because it's 30 damn degrees. But well, he wanted us to walk out there and look at it. Let me wipe you off. And it was nice. And Big Mike, y'all have to know him. He don't give a crap, but he asked the guy's showing it to us, and Mike's like, damn man, I didn't know they made these for men. No offense to you JK guys, but it was just funny as hell. You'd have to been there. Mike's 7'1". He don't care what he says. He told the guy, I didn't know they made these for men. But I think that's where a lot of that comes from. You know, they're trying to sell parts. Like I told y'all before, I grew up in an era there wasn't no internet. The only way we knew it wouldn't work is we tried it, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. And we're flirting with disaster right here, and I know that, but boy, it's gonna be fun. Alright, enough talking. Let's get to work. That's what we come up with. Picking the Jeep up. Anyway, I'm gonna center all this stuff up. I'm gonna weld a nut or a stud to the bottom of the perch. I got it marked to where we'll go center of that, weld it all up. But that's how all that turned out. I gotta get batteries, waiting on batteries from my welder, and then we can get back on it. Alright guys, I tested them. They're lining up perfectly. This is what I ended up doing. Stud. That screws down on there. I done tested both sides. I'm going to get the springs back in it, put these on, tighten them up, and carry on. Just want to show you all that. Well guys, it's time to take a break, clean up my mess because I'm tripping over shit, and y'all know how that is. Go over it one more time, make sure all the bolts are tight. I got some on the control arms that ain't even, the nuts are just started on them. But our bump stops is in. They wasn't hard to do. I put them in with the spring and then screwed them on there and then tightened them up with a big pair of channel locks, and they're not hitting the springs or anything, so that's good. I tested them too, up and down. I got the front end back together, hubs redone. I can't turn it harder with that brake caliper on there, but pretty much got the front pretty much done. I'm gonna do some painting. Well, I'm gonna grease everything, then I'm gonna purple power it, pressure wash it, then paint everything under here, and then move to the rear and do the brake lines on the rear end, bleed the brakes out, put the tires on it, and maybe get to go for a test drive. Probably won't be today. I gotta see what it's gonna entail, do the brake lines in the rear. Unless we're running to go get some, it ain't no big deal, but I'm gonna go over this front end really good. I've still gotta fill everything up with oil. The drive shaft's fine, that's gonna work. It looks like it's hanging out a lot, but it's got another ½ inch from right there if you take it out and flex it. So that's gonna be fine. Everything's done. As far as the front end goes. Anyway, I'm gonna sit here and think and look and clean the mess up, and then start tightening bolts, make sure everything's torqued down like it's supposed to be, grease everything, pressure wash it, paint everything, and then I'll put the brake lines on the back. This might be the end of the video, I'm not sure. I'll show y'all, at least show y'all with the front tires on it, with it sitting on the springs, because it was sitting down in the front, and the pictures on Facebook, because I had them out. Anywho, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, change of plans. We're going to have to move it to clean up. What y'all think? That front end looks like it's way far forward, but it's 2 inches. That's what we put it at, so. It's time to have a beer on this one. I think the front end's gonna have to come up about 1 inch. Maybe. See, it's just easier to move it. I want to pressure wash all this anyway. Do alignment on it. Well, that's one reason the tires turned. Yeah, I might do some alignment on it. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end it right here. Appreciate everybody watching and following it. Now we get to go test drive it in the woods. Tomorrow I will finish all up the little stuff. I won't make videos on that. That way I can get it all done, you know, and I won't miss anything. I still got to make the little panels for the back and stuff like that, where we cut and folded it. Go over it one more time. Torque all the rims down. Set the air pressure right, see what that is, and just all the little stuff that takes more time than actually fabbing the stuff does. But I'll get under there and go through it front to back, make sure it's all good, and I think we'll be good to go. We're going to do something with that next. The tire carrier, we're going to make a jack rack there and gas tanks and stuff like that on that. I'm not going to carry a spare no more. If I have a problem, I'm not that far from home. I appreciate y'all following it. It's gonna be a beast. We still got to do the methanol too, methanol injection. It's not way taller or anything. It's about 2 inches taller than it was. We may have to bring the front end up a little bit, like a half an inch. Make it half inch or inch spacer just to get it level. Or after we put the jack and stuff on the back, it might bring it back down to where it's supposed to be, which is probably what, yeah, that's probably what'll happen. Three months, we did it. Took us 3 months to get them tires under there. We'll just sit here and look at it as long as y'all want to. That's the part I like, is just building it. We got her bump stop out where she won't hit anywhere. Turning right and left, full lock on the front. The only thing it gets close to is the snorkel tube. But we're gonna redo that anyway. We're gonna make that out of PVC or do away with it altogether and put our uni filters on there like we were talking about, which is probably what I'm gonna do. I just ain't done it yet because I'm worried about, there's a lot of sand out there when we ride, and you get 10 or 12 people in a row going down a dirt road. It's just real bad sandy. I don't want to risk getting that stuff in the engine, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. We'll play that out by ear. I thought about putting a filter up on the roof, but I don't like the way they look. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fab up that rear tire carrier to hold different things. Fab up the tire carriers. My neighbor went by, was waving at me. I thought he was going to stop, but he didn't. I'm glad he didn't. We're going to fab up the tire carrier to hold the jack, the ropes, the 2 gas cans, and if I can bring myself to go back to 4-wheel parts and buy them. And we're going to put some lights on the back of it for backup lights where I can see what I'm doing. We're going to respray it with Raptor liner. Jennifer wants me to do that before we go back out too. I don't really want to, but we'll see. We got the meth injection. Make sure the exhaust is all tied under there. All the little stuff. But she's pretty much done. Just everything but the small stuff. A lot of work. It is worth it. It will be worth it when we go in the woods, because we're going to be able to go anywhere with this bitch. It would go anywhere with 36s on it, unless we, got in some spots we wasn't supposed to be in the first place. But we go out in the forest, we can't go in those spots like that, so any of those trails in the forest we'll be able to do now. I had a Chevrolet with 40-inch gumbo mudders on them, and I used to be able to go anywhere out there. It was just a rough riding sucker, but it'd go anywhere. No flex, no nothing. It only flexed in the frame. Our advantage is going to be high ground clearance. We got 13.5 inches under the pumpkin in the rear and probably 14 under the front. I haven't measured it, but I'll let y'all know exactly what it is. Now at the tubes themselves, it'll drag that pumpkin pretty easy. But if you go on up to the tubes, shit, it's probably 16, 17, 18 inches of ground clearance. See, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, probably about 16, 17 inches of ground clearance. Let's walk around it and then we'll go. I'm gonna do a lot of this today. enjoy our accomplishment. They gonna hate me. The haters are gonna hate me. We're gonna make another video when I get it all cleaned up and done, and we're gonna park it back over there where I did the first video on this Jeep, because I've gotten so many comments about how it won't do nothing. And we're gonna make another video and see how many haters we can get out of this. I guarantee you we get more haters like this than we did with the 36s. But it's all good, because as Cat Williams says, if you got 100 haters, you need to get 150 by the end of the year. Then you know you're doing something right. And he is absolutely correct. Haters gonna hate. Alright guys, I'll holler at y'all later, man. Y'all take it easy. We'll be test riding here pretty soon. Y'all have a good one, guys. Hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving, or had a good Thanksgiving. Take it easy. Bye. 3 months of hard work paid off. I'm gonna pressure wash everything, get everything greased up, pressure wash it. I grease it and then I usually pressure wash it, because I get grease everywhere. I always push out the old stuff until I see new grease. And I'll hook the methanol up. I might make a video on that. That'd probably be, I don't know when we're gonna get on that, but probably maybe next weekend, maybe. Still got to finish the exhaust. Just a bunch of little stuff. The little stuff usually takes longer than actually fabbing the stuff up, but she turned out good. I like it. We'll make another video for the channel like we did the first ever video I made on this thing on 36s. When we get it all done, we'll make another video and go through what all's been done to it, and that way the new guys will know, and any haters that might come across it on a whim. And as Cat Williams says, if you got 100 haters, you need to have 150 more by the end of the year. Then you know you're doing something right. We'll see what we get. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm ready to go take this thing in the woods. Maybe next weekend, maybe. Well, I think I'm gonna go get me a drink, and I'm gonna sit down in my chair and I'm gonna stare at my work. I would do it with y'all, but this video is already too long. Probably an hour long right now. I'm about to edit the hell out of it. Now when I'm sorry, but you'll see it before this, but I had a smudge on the camera. Damn nosy ass people down by here. Alright guys, well y'all take it easy. I appreciate everybody who's been following this thing and watching me do all this stuff. Hope I showed y'all some things that's helpful, you know. The bump stops in the front I did pretty normal like anybody would on these Jeeps. The rear was fun. The front was, I wouldn't say it was fun in the front. It was just do it, you know. Really nothing to fabricate, but just that one piece I made down there, which turned out pretty good. And the guys that keep asking about the throttle bodies, I'm going to get on them, guys. We've been waiting on this to get back on its feet. I'm going to have to clean up the rest of the day and chill out and get all my stuff put away where I can find a 13mm socket, because they're getting hard to locate. When you get to that point, you might as well quit and clean up. Y'all take it easy, guys. We'll holler at y'all later. Bye.